the username in Maxpanda to log in on the desktop as well as the mobile. Each user is responsible for their password. I'll log in here. Okay. Before we look at the dashboards, this is what we want to look at today. I'm going to talk about site management a little bit with the roles, system roles. Then we're going to look at the different dashboards. We'll create a work order, and then we'll look at the PM library, preventive maintenance scheduling.
Okay.
The creation of the work order is going to encompass most of the functionality that you're seeking today anyway. Now, I did read you have 2 plants and a third one opening. Are the maintenance guys going to be separate in each plant?
I didn't hear the question.
Is maintenance conducted per plant, or is it a centralized maintenance like the team goes to all 3?
There'll be maintenance departments within each plant.
Excellent. So you're going to set up 3 different sites. Maxpanda allows for up to 100 different sites. A site is not a location; it's an actual database. So you're getting even on the enterprise plan, you're getting receiving 100 Maxpandas for the price of 1. So today we're going to stay in the Maxpanda headquarters site. This one has 30 buildings that I'm managing. But as an example, I can go to New York. This is a totally different database, totally different buildings, assets, users, etc. So how I envision your account will be that you're going to have 3 different sites, and each is going to be named the plant or the city that the plant is situated in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All of these users can be assigned to a single or 2 or 3 plants, so multiple plants. In fact, Steve can be a site administrator in the Maxpanda headquarters site, which is the top role. And I would only have access to that, but you could also give me access as a submitter in the New York site. So you can mix and match people, for instance, for multiple sites, or the same person for all 3 sites. So let's look at the roles real quick. The top role is the company admin. This is the person that purchases the account. The company admin has access to everything in the menu system. More importantly, only the company admin can go into this tab here. This is the person who can upgrade, downgrade the plan, change the preferences, and more importantly, set up all the company setup in that file. Everything in Maxpanda is custom. Sorry, Tim, I'm getting some feedback. I'm not sure. You know why?
We okay now, or?
Let me just bring down my mic a bit. Oh, that's better. Okay. As I was saying, the company administrator is the top role. That person has access to the company tab, company setup, more importantly, where you define your asset types, asset statuses, for example, customize the work order labels that people will see when they're submitting, etc. We're not going to go into all of that. It's pretty intensive, but once that's all set up, for example, categories, they're all customized. You're different. Your categories are different than a hospital or a school, so obviously you want to customize them accordingly. There is a company editor. That's the second in command for the entire account, and this is company-wide. This is all sites accessible. The company editor can do everything in the menu except no access to the company tab. There is a site admin and a site editor. So those 2 roles, they mimic the top role, but they're only assigned to a single site. So once again, I can be a site administrator in Maxpanda. That's it. And I will not have access to the other 12 databases. Okay.
Okay.
There are 4 maintenance staff that you're going to assign your team to, and these are internal maintenance staff, not vendors or contractors. There is staff limited, unlimited, and supervisor limited, unlimited. The difference is the staff personnel, maintenance staff, can only complete a Maxpanda work order. So the life cycle of a Maxpanda work order is like a submitted one. Is someone's going to submit it, and it becomes a pending request. It is not a work order. It doesn't count part of your monthly count because you can reject a pending request, right? Tim, I might tell you to wash my car. You're going to reject that request.
Right.
Somebody can approve it, like a staff unlimited or higher can approve it. So a maintenance staff can approve the work orders, but they can only complete them. The supervisor, editor, administrators are the only ones that can do a final close on a Maxpanda work order. Okay, only the top 3 roles there. So the difference between staff and supervisor is simply the ability to close a work order, which is only for the supervisors. Staff limited must be assigned. If I logged in as a staff limited personnel, I don't have the list view. List view is all active work orders and a particular site or multiple sites. I can't pick and choose pending work orders that come in and do whatever I want. I have to be assigned to the work order. Staff unlimited, we do give them access to the list view, okay, up here. So I can look at, okay, if I'm your bearing specialist, I'm going to obviously assign myself to all the bearing categories and priorities immediately. Staff and vendor automatically, the entry point is my to-do list. Those are work orders I've assigned to myself or someone else has assigned to me. If a work order is gray like this is offline, okay? Our work orders work offline utilizing the mobile. So if you don't have Wi-Fi or data for some reason, you're in a forest, you can download the work orders offline, manipulate them, take pictures, etc., attach anything you want. Once you reach Wi-Fi, then you can push this work order back up to online again. So then everyone can see it. When it's offline, no one can edit it but the person on the mobile. Our mobile app has its own database, so it's a true mobile database. It's not, just simply editing online data. Okay, so that's the maintenance staff. Do you guys manage or do you use vendors at all, contractors?
Absolutely, yes.
The main difference between the 2 roles here, vendor limited, is this limited role cannot submit work orders into your account. You're basically assigning a work order to a vendor. Their job is to complete these 6 here, which are overdue. They can manipulate purchase orders, create invoices. Digital invoices go onto the work order, obviously, for reporting and tracking and transferring data. Our mobile has digital signatures, so someone with a pen or finger can just, say okie dokie, invoice is good, etc. The vendor unlimited is a contractor you trust. This company can submit a work order in your account. This way, if, for example, here, this plumber needs to complete a plug sink, what if he's on site and sees another sink across the plant that needs attention? He or she can submit a work order. You can approve it before they leave the building. This way they can complete 2 work orders and invoice you accordingly rather than coming back tomorrow. That's the difference between the vendors. You don't have tenants. We do have a view-only role. The viewer can only view work orders that they've been assigned to. A viewer unlimited, they don't need to be assigned to, they can look at all the work orders. It's more for an accounting department. They can see the details. But they can't edit anything, any details or data within the work order. Now, there is a submitter role. A submitter is somebody like a teacher, general staff. That you only want them to submit work orders into your account for approval. So you can see here, I can only really do 2 things. Submit a work order and then view all work orders that I've submitted. So every one of these roles here, we store a database under my work orders. These are the work orders that Steve has submitted so Tim can approve, because I can't approve these, right? I'm only submitting them. So secretary, general office staff, etc. But the good thing here is I can review the progress of all my submitted work orders. These are completed, great, I'm happy. I can edit completed work orders, and I can rate any of the vendors or the maintenance staff that completed my request. So my room is very warm. Joe or Tim, you're going to assign Joe to the work order. Joe completes it. I can rate them 0 to 10, and there's a full rating system for your vendors and your maintenance staff. This is a really, really general overview of these roles. Again, I'm going to send you that email you can download, and it has very detailed permissions. Does anyone have any questions so far on site management and role management?
Steve, is there any limits on how many users can have a certain role? Like, can there only be one company admin, or?
No, a million. But I don't suggest you have more than 2 or 3 admins. The administrative role is the top role, and there's 2 major things that they can do. Number one is I don't have my API set up, but the company admin can give access to the API. That means people can start pulling any data out of the system and pushing it anywhere else. But more importantly, they can go here and cancel your account, change the credit card, delete a whole bunch of part statuses, asset types, blah, blah, blah. So you want to keep the admin limited to 1 or 2 people, and the company editors, then you can have as many as you want. But again, no limits on any of these roles, correct?
Right.
Most CMMS, I understand, they charge by the user. That's awesome. Good for them. All right, let's look at the dashboards real quick. I'm going to stay as a company admin for this presentation. I don't want you guys to see limited functionality, so let's see all the functions. Being the company admin, I can click this link here. It's company-wide link. This link will list all active work orders in all of my 13 different sites. Okay. The list view is the default view of my default site. So every time I log in, I want to come into this site first. And then if I want, I can just switch to New York to see what's happening there. So the list view gives you a lot of functionality. Utilizing the checkboxes, I can simply download all the work orders in a CSV file. Quick status report. This one is a very good one for you guys, because you guys are a 24-hour based system. We've got a lot of food production companies utilizing Maxpanda. They find this status report very handy. Again, utilizing the checkboxes, you can close off all 10 work orders in a single click instead of editing one at a time, so it speeds things up. You can also multi-assign vendors or multi-assign staff personnel to 10 work orders in a single click. Multi-print as well. All right, so this is the list view. All of our lists have an active search to your Amazon database. As an example, right now I'm showing 103 work orders on this list, right? But this account has more than that. You see I click status button here? I'm hiding my canceled and overdue work orders because I don't care to load those all the time. If I did, now I've got over close to 1,900 work orders on this list. So I don't want to see my canceled. I don't want to manage my overdue right now. I just want these statuses here to pop up every time I log in. So now we're at 103. Out of those 103, we want to see what Steve is up to, one of our maintenance staff. He's a superstar. You can see a lot of his work orders. He's got 17 of them, and a lot of them are completed. So once again, I trust Steve that, he's done a great job and et cetera. So I don't need to visually inspect his work. I can select these 5 completed ones and click them off in a single click. They'll be closed off. They'll disappear from this list, and they'll be permanently stored in your closed work order filing there. All right. So this search bar is throughout the entire application. By the way, your data is stored on Amazon Web Services. It's a cloud service. It's not a server. So there's 17 instances around the world. Australia, they hit their own instance in Australia, etc. The only way your database is ever going to go down or you're going to lose data is if Amazon goes belly up, which I doubt. We have another view called the map view. I don't think you guys are going to use this at all. It's more beneficial for construction companies. You can see your assets or assigned asset, whose truck, what truck is assigned to Steve, for example. You can look at approved work orders on a global map if you plot them. So we use the GPS on GoMax mobile, which you can turn it off and on. That will track staff and vendors and assets. And you can see your truck traveling from New York to Kansas if you want. Full accessibility to all this. Again, because your assets are mostly fixed, you're probably not going to use that. The third view is your calendar view. The calendar will ask you to do a quick filter before you enter it. For example, do you want to see your future PMs that are coming up at the end of the December? I'm not going to filter anything, all my statuses, etc. I'll just update it. The calendar is on the mobile as well. Everything you're seeing here, I'm showing you, is on mobile as well. This is my world in December now. So the calendar has a couple of benefits that the list view does not. It does have hyperlinked right to the work order. Benefit number one is it will show you the light blue work orders. These are preventive maintenance routines. You can see here, change pool filter. It's every 2 weeks. Okay, I've got one happening in every 2 weeks. Same with changing of the filter, HVAC filter every Saturday. So it's a weekly PM. All the statuses are here for you. So what is it today? The 21st. So on Boxing Day, I do have 3, maybe more, 4 PMs that will turn green. So for Saturday morning, we'll get notified, email, push notification. Any staff that have been pre-assigned to the work order will get notified as well as the vendors. The second benefit is drag and drop rescheduling. So this one here, so the 21st. So this one here, maybe you want to finish this PM before the 25th, even though it's got a week or a month due date. You can drag and drop the start date for tomorrow. If I do that, it will reschedule. I'm not going to do it, but it'll reschedule and set up all the due dates for the 22nd, and the clock will start ticking. And on the 22nd, it'll turn green. It'll be active. So these ones don't count, again, part of your monthly count, because you can actually reject them. All right, any questions on the list view, map view, or calendar view? No? Right on. The fourth view, again, I can't show you, but I'll send you some screenshots, is the mobile app. Everything I'm showing you today is on the mobile. Okay, the rest of these links you can explore for yourself. Today we're going to now do create a work order. We can do it in 30 seconds, or it might take about 15 minutes. And we'll go through the other menu items shortly. So does somebody want to give me an example of a work order that somebody noticed today on the plant or in the office or the building system?
Sure, we've got several Blancher leaks on our 810 line.
A Blancher?
Blancher, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so who am I? Am I the maintenance staff or just anybody walking by seeing observing the leak?
You could just be anybody. That'd be great.
Okay, so I'll be Steve, anybody, and I can submit this problem in multiple ways. Number one is I can walk up to that Blancher, and if you have a QR code pasted on it, I can scan it and submit a work order right there and then on my mobile. We have a guest portal that's under the guest services. No one is required to have a username and password to create the work order I'm going to show you today. But today you actually invited me in as a submitter, unlimited or limited. So I have a username and password. So I'll log in on my desktop and I'll submit here. This is the small form to submit a work order in Maxpanda. All of these fields can be, the text can be customized. You're not going to have customers, so you can hide that, for example. You can make certain fields required to submit a work order or not required. The minimum basic requirements are the title, category, priority to create a work order. You cannot alter those stars. So I'm Steve, a general office worker. Blanchers are leaking like crazy. Section 8. I don't know if you have sections on your plant floor. And auto spell. Okay. Before I move forward, the title of the work order, and again, you could change this text to be, hey buddy, what's your problem? But the title of the work order is very important. This text that Steve put in here, your general worker, this is going to become the hyperlink. It's a link in the emails that get sent out by Maxpanda. So Tim, if you're the company admin, as an example, I'm just using your name because you're the only one I remember. You're going to receive an email, and the link is going to have blanches are leaking like crazy. You click it, it'll take you right to your desktop application. If you're on your mobile, you click the link, it'll take you to the mobile app and open up the work order. At that point, you can approve it or reject it. We're not there yet. We're still submitting a work order from Steve. This text also is the push notification. You know those pop-ups that come on your iOS and Androids. Again, you click the push notification, takes you right to the mobile. Reference ID, it's an open field. You can change this to GL code since you're using Sage. That would be great. I'm just going to put 123. You can capture whatever you want. The good thing here is 123 will be stored in your database, and it is reported on in our reporting tools. Category, I'm not sure what a blancher is, but is it electrical? Is it lighting? What is it?
It's a tank full of hot water to.
Okay. So yeah. It could be plumbing, but you know what? I'm just going to use repair.
Right.
Point being is you're going to customize this. Maxpanda does come pre-populated with the basics. You're going to expand it accordingly. Your priorities can be tied to your categories. We'll leave that for now. Steve obviously has a list here that you created. You will have low, medium, high, urgent to start. These are your due dates for the work order. Every human on the planet is going to say, pick it, I want this done in 24 hours or even 6 hours, right? I'm going to be nice and I'll say, please get this done within 3 days. Saving time, I'm going to copy and paste to the notes. The notes, I, the submitter, can continuously add to the notes. Tomorrow, if I put, for example, hey, Tim, what's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. I'm getting upset. It's still wet here. The text in the email turns red. It alternates from black, red, but it also triggers an email and a push alert. So you guys will know when people are updating the work orders. I can carbon copy somebody, maybe the CFO or even the owner. You don't have, I can carbon copy one of the personnel. These are all users in this account here in this site. I don't need to, because I'm not the facility manager. And where is this problem? So these are all the buildings in this site. Again, you're just going to have the one building per site if you're going to split up your account in sites. So you might have the main plant, you might have an office building, warehouse, so different buildings. As you select the building, it will show you only the locations assigned to that building. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a location work order now for you to approve, Tim. My problem is situated at the main building on the first floor, okay? A location can be anything. It could be the roof, the parking lot, section of the plant, office, etc. Now, we don't want to just create a location. I'm going to select some assets as well. Let's pretend this is a blancher here. This is only the icon of the asset, not the real picture, just to make sure I pick the right one. There's a lot of information you can show per asset in your work orders when people are submitting, like the statuses, the asset tag that you're tagging it, because I've got 36 of these on the roof. Expiry date for the warranty, but theoretically the minimum is the name and manufacturer of the product. So now I'm creating a location work order as well as an asset-based work order. So both types. A submitter cannot change these things. They can't tell you, hey guys, you don't have to start this till the 31st, right? And you've got 3 days to do it. So submitter, this is all grayed out. But anyone who's got access to submitting work orders can upload a picture. So obviously on my iPhone, I can take a picture of all this water everywhere or crack for these blanchers that are busting up. I can attach office documentation, Excel files, etc., any PDF file, and audio file. So what I just did here on my iPhone or Android, I can actually dictate all of this. So if you have guys that don't like typing, they can just dictate all of this stuff, even attach a WAV file, like an audio file, to Maxpanda's work orders, or movie file as well. All right, let's submit the work order now. Two things just happened. So forget about the work order. Let's start over again. Let's forget about Steve, the general worker now. The process here is if Steve was one of your maintenance staff unlimited, he can actually approve, assign himself to the work order, then complete it, and then you guys can close it off like any supervisor. But the process that I think is happening here is Steve's just a general worker. The supervisor, editor, admins, as well as staff unlimited, you can turn notifications on and off. Tim, you just received an email and your phone buzzed and you saw a pop-up and it says blanchers are leaking. You're going to edit this work order now on your iPhone or Android or desktop or tablet, and you're going to reject it. And if you do reject it, you can put a pop-up note why you're rejecting it, and it doesn't count part of your monthly, work order count. Any pop-up notes go into the status history. No one in the world can change that. It's part of our HIPAA compliancy. With Amazon's docs, etc., so that no one can edit that information. You can put a comment here, Tim, and say, forget it, Steve, and then reject it. Steve now will see this. Because the communication in Maxpanda for emails is through the notes and the comments. So every time these get updated with text, it triggers another email to be sent. Today we're not going to reject it. We like Steve. We will approve it. We need those blanchers fixed. All right. So you see, Steve wants this done in 3 days. There's no way that's going to happen. We're going to downgrade now to 7 days, giving our maintenance team a week to finish the job. Moving on down, we know who created the work order. They've got an account with us, Steve. You don't need to touch this, even though you're the company admin. Maxpanda will timestamp everything to the second, utilizing the buttons here. On the desktop or mobile. You know where the problem is? It's at the main building, first floor. It's related to that asset. Now, this asset, no one touches but a vendor, so let's add a vendor to the work order, Acme Electric. So I'm assigning Acme Electric to this work order. They're going to have a new work order on my to-do list. They'll receive push and email notification. We're also going to assign internal staff to work with this vendor because we really need this done within a week. Task management. A task is a digital checklist that you're going to set up in your library. I'm going to add a new task here. I have 33 of them already pre-built. And I'm going to add a roof inspection report. It's like a template. So these are paper-based checklists that you can digitize, and you can add it to any work order or preventive maintenance or metering type work order to automatically be filled. If you add or completed, if you add any one or multiple tasks to a work order, no work order can be completed or closed without the tasks being completed first. So it's a fail-safe. I'll show you what a task looks like. Here's a full checklist here. So in this work order to fix the, what are they called? Blanchers. To fix the blanchers, we want a full checklist done as well, okay? So somebody's going to have to complete this and then store the data, whatever they entered. So a task can be assigned to a different staff within the work order or a different vendor, okay? So I'm going to assign Acme Plumbing to do only the checklist, the task, the full checklist. But as you know, Acme Electric is going to be assigned to the work order, okay? So I can also notify another maintenance staff or my boss, Maxwell, when Amber is done this task here or Acme Plumbing is done. We collect files at the task level, pictures, etc. When I created this checklist, this is what I want to be done every time I add it to the work order. I want them to put their name in it. So whether it's a vendor or who was it? Amber. So Amber would put, yes, it's me, Amber. We're not going to complete it today, but the type of details that you can collect, and you can put as many as you want, are letters, checkboxes, numbers, dates with time, and a range value, scales, or whatever you want. So I created a range value of 1 to 10. So Amber has to put 1 to 10 here. She can put in a 9.98. That's awesome. She'll be able to complete this task. Now, what if the value collected was 12.2? Well, it's outside of Tim's specified range. And sorry, Tim, I'm just using your name as the FM right now, but it is outside of the range. Amber will still be able to complete this task, but Tim, you're going to receive an email to the work order and write to this task here, because you need to know when things are outside of a desired range value, correct? This could be temperature, production values, pH level in the food, etc. Whatever value you want. This is only one checklist. We don't have time today to complete them all. I'm going to remove them. We're moving forward. Part management. When I added that, I added that Ream HVAC unit to this work order just for a test. When I created it in my asset list here, my database, I pre-assigned 3 parts to it. This way my staff or vendor are not scrambling to find the correct part. So I've got a displacer and 2 filters that only fit this HVAC unit. We have a price on these parts, okay? We haven't set them up on a bin or a mobile truck or a shelf unit, whatever. We do know how many we have in the warehouse. If my staff use 2 of everything, these numbers will go down to 2 when this work order is completed, and we will collect part costs. So 2 of this, 2 of this, 2 of this, okay? We'll do that when we're closing off the work order. I can create a PO right now from within the work order because I don't have any parts left, right? I need to order 1,000 of them. I can create a new part because I went to Home Depot and bought 20 of these filters. I can create a brand new part here and add 20 to inventory and put, so then my staff can use like 2 or 3, etc. Staff here, these are your internal maintenance staff. So we're going to assign Amber, Jack, and the maintenance lady. So it's going to take 3 of our internal staff to fix these problems here. Only the company admin sees the hourly rate. On the mobile or desktop, they can put how many hours and minutes they worked. We also have a tool time. This is a start and stop clock on the individual's work order and mobile. So this can be used to capture how long did Amber actually take to mop up the floor. But active labor this could have been 20 minutes. Active labor could have been 2 hours. She had to go to Home Depot to buy a new mop, right? Totally up to you guys how you want to utilize that. You can force all staff to put in their hours. People forget, right? So they can't complete their work unless they put in their hours. Invoice, we're going to add an invoice later. Work order attachments, I haven't uploaded any pictures, any PDFs, any floor plans, whatever, O&M manuals through the life cycle of this work order here. So anything that gets uploaded will be stored in the work order attachments, but the company attachments is any data that has been set up by Tim. Tim, I'm just pretending you're the company admin. So when Tim created that location, first floor, he attached a floor plan. So you know exactly where all the assets are. He also has a Google map to help the vendors realize and find where this room is, or the plant floor on the planet. The asset also has other web links, like a YouTube video that'll help our staff realize or understand what's the best way to change the filter on this unit here, as well as the parts. So anything that was assigned to this work order, the location asset part, this will always show up to assist our staff. Okay, at this point I can save this and come back to it, but today we're just going to prove it. I'm very happy now. I know that took a long time, but theoretically the approver will reassign the correct due date, assign a staff personnel, maybe add a part or 2 if you wanted to, and click with their thumb, approve work order. 2 things are occurring now. We are going to go from yellow to green. We have a new approved work order. The clock is ticking. We have a 7-day due date. All of the vendors and the maintenance staff received an email and a push alert on their phones. They know they have to fix the leaking blanchers. So let's go ahead and close this work order off. Real quick now, you can see the company admin, can still cancel this work order. For some miracle, Tim used duct tape. He fixed the blancher. We don't need to, move any further, right? So you can cancel this work order or simply close it off without capturing any other information. But the company admin can only cancel and close. Remember, the supervisor, editor, admins can have access to those buttons. If I was the maintenance staff, my job is to complete it. But we do have an on hold and in progress. I don't have enough parts. I have to order parts out of state. I know the parts won't arrive in a week, so I'm going to put this work order on hold. When the parts arrive, I can put it back to in progress. My Maxpanda will timestamp all that information. I'll show you that in a report today. But today we're just going to close it off. We're going to skip all the statuses. So as a maintenance staff, I put duct tape on side of Blanchard, all fixed. I know that's limited information. Tasks, all the people completed the tasks. For the parts, this could be duct tape. I used 6 rolls of duct tape here. All of your maintenance staff worked various hours on this job. 2 hours, 15, 3 hours, okay? Our vendor also made an invoice. So I can the vendor should have had the invoice here already. Or they sent you a paper or an email or attachment as a picture. So go ahead and add it yourself. Got one here, Acme Electric, charge us $409 to help us with duct taping the Blanchards. We didn't upload any pictures. At this point, I'm going to skip the completed. I'm just going to close it off. Remember those pop-up notes going to the status history where no one can delete? I'm not going to do any notes there. So again, we're skipping the completed portion, which should have been done by a vendor or a maintenance staff. I just closed it off. So once again, everyone received an email and a push. The closed work order is gone from the list. It is on this list here. Does anyone have any questions on that process? I know I threw a lot of info at you. Anyone at all?
Nope, I don't think so.
Steve, the only thing I got real quick is when you're adding the building and location and the asset on there, if you type the asset in first, will that pre-fill all that information?
That's correct. And if you scan the QR code of that asset, it will pre-fill all the information. Correct. So since we're on the topic of scanning, let's look at my equipment here. I've got in this site only. Remember, there's 30 buildings, but only in this database here, I've got 36 major equipment. Here, from this list here, let's just show 10 at a time. So if I use the checkboxes for my assets, this activates the QR code download feature. So if I click it, you have an option here to download your QR codes in a small, like 16 per sheet, medium, large. I don't know why you need so large, or Avery labels. So most North America customers use Avery labels. So if you buy Avery labels, you can print these out, like download it to PDF, print out all of your QR codes there on in-house stickers and paste them on your equipment. So let's look at one piece of equipment here before we move on to PMs. We did a work order on that HVAC unit here. It does have a PM on it too. So let's edit it. This is one asset here. There's a lot of information that you can capture in an asset, and it's all visible on the mobile and work orders as well. So the details of your equipment, obviously a lot of information. There's the icon that you want people to see to make sure they pick the right one. Is it a mobile asset? Again, most of your equipment are not going to be mobile unless you're dealing with trucks, but so leave it like so. Mobile assets are going to be, you're going to see them moving on the map view in Maxpanda. Plot it where it is. You've got, I've never done an audit on this. You've got life cycle analysis. We bought it for that much. It's losing $18 a month. There's those 3 parts that I pre-assigned to that HVAC unit. I can assign more if I want to. This unit does not have a meter running on it, so you can manage metering type work orders. So set up a truck, the trigger could be 5,000 miles. So every 5,000 miles or every 5,000 hours on a production line, it'll trigger automatically a work order on that piece of equipment. And you can update the reading utilizing GoMax, like the mobile app. And again, all scanned through the QR code. These are the attachments you saw earlier that I uploaded. So we utilize web links. So any secure website you can add to, whether it's YouTube, Dropbox, internal documentation. This is the QR code that I can scan with my mobile app to review everything. And there's those digital web links. So this is only one piece of equipment. Now, we do not expect you to go here and create, I don't know how many assets you have, I'm guessing a lot. We don't expect you to go here and go, okay, one at a time, right? Like, okay, asset number one, blah, 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 blah. Everything in Maxpanda you can upload in a single click here. So you would go create asset, but you would download the template file. This is an Excel sheet that you can paste 67,000 rows of data. Once you populate all of your equipment on it, and since you have Micromain, it's easy to grab all that asset details, just the details of the equipment. Copy paste it here and then upload your data. So if I did that, you go back to view all, and then all your assets will be populated. This multi-template occurs for buildings, locations, assets, users, parts, etc. Any questions on that data stuff or assets?
No.
Let's look at a PM now. Quick question, not to be nosy, but does Micromain set up preventive maintenance with dynamic scheduling, or is it all calendar-based?
Neither.
Neither?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about PMs with Maxpanda. Because you saw my HVAC unit, I do have a PM running. I've got 20 PMs for this site here at multiple buildings. Let's open up a PM schedule. Now, before we review a PM, if I go into my library here, we have boilerplates. When you start with Maxpanda, before you start creating your PM, it's great to have a boilerplate. A boilerplate is a scratch pad. Put down your ideas, like we should schedule a monthly maintenance routine on that Blanchard number one. Once you like what you're doing there, you can make it a template. Templates are shared within sites in Maxpanda. Why is that important? Because I can make a Blanchard PM schedule in Maxpanda headquarters, and the other two guys in Australia and New York can import my template. That is very important because now what you're doing as a facility manager, system-wide, you're standardizing operations on a similar asset across multiple sites, right? You want the same guy or the different teams in different sites to be doing the same type of PM. Plus, it saves the other guy's time, like in New York and Australia, from creating that PM as well. All right, so let's edit an active PM. This is, you can call your PMs whatever you want. This is the HVAC unit I'm conducting PMs on, calling it REAM HVAC inspection. Obviously, it's under the type work category inspection. By the way, you can assign people to categories. So if Steve was assigned to HVAC only, I would only see HVAC work orders in my to-do list view, etc. Now, instead of a 5-day due date, what I'm doing is I'm proposing 2 weeks. I'm giving 2 weeks due date for every work order that this PM will generate. So my team will have 2 weeks to complete it. You can have 1 day or even 60 minutes or 90 days, whatever. But if you enter something here, it will override your default settings there. We'll leave it at 2 weeks. It is generating a work order. Now, if you're lazy like I am and you don't want to type in all of your O&M manuals and your procedures, your PMs, you simply attach the PM, the O&M manual to the PM here. That'll go right here under attachments. So I have a O&M manual, a procedure diagram, another picture of the HVAC unit, maybe could be the same one, and a safety checklist. These 3 docs will appear in PMs for this unit, which is right here that you saw earlier, the HVAC unit. on top of the other docs that you saw assigned to the location and the asset. Because this asset belongs to that location, so we're going to show all that documentation. So again, you can write them up, and whenever you print your work orders, however you're typing them, they will look exact, like so. So when our preventive maintenance, we want to tell people where the asset is, which asset you're working on for this PM. If you recall, I pre-assigned parts to the asset, so I don't need to put those filters here. I can put maybe a different part. So now 4 parts will come up in the PM work order when it generates. Now the cool thing here is you can pre-assign all of your PMs to the same staff or vendor. So maintenance and Maxwell, or Maxwell and Amber, will always be assigned to every work order that this PM generates, okay? So you don't have to, you just let Maxpanda handle everything, and they'll assign it accordingly. Same with the vendor as well. If you leave it blank, you'll have to assign it when the PM generates the work order. When does it generate the work order? On the schedule. So this is Outlook Calendar or Google Calendar, so you'll find it very familiar. The only difference Maxpanda has with other CMMS is we include dynamic. Okay, so if this was a filter change, obviously it's as simple as, you know what, generate a new work order on the first Monday of every 2 months. Okay, and if you have a contract with a vendor for a year, you would go like so. So 6 work orders, 1 every 2 months, that's a year contract. Maxpanda will stop generating work orders, or you can go no end date. So any type of calendar-based PM you want to set up, schedule, go ahead. Weekly, whether it's every Saturday or Monday and Wednesday and Friday. So 3 work orders every month, whatever. Now, once you set up your calendar, we also include dynamic. Dynamic will allow you, and especially since you're in manufacturing and production, this is very important because, or it might be useful, because now you can tell this PM, don't generate the next one until 5 days from the last completed work order. Because your team might have an overdue work order on that asset, so it wasn't completed yet, right? But once they do complete it, then on the next day, generate that next PM schedule. Because you might have a weekly PM setting on that. Any questions so far on the details or the scheduling system? Your PM, we allow you to add tasks, and remember, every work order that this PM generates, all the tasks must be completed. So you can add one task with a bunch of checklists, or a whole bunch of different ones and have them closed off, sorted, right, in order, and assigned to different people as well. We looked at the attachments. Now this is very cool because every PM that you create, so I created one called Ream HVAC Inspection for my 5-ton air handler unit. Every PM you create, Maxpanda will store every work order it has generated for you. Why is that cool? Because I can see here, I can go back to April of 2015, 6 years ago, and edit the work order, and I can see what did Tim do to this asset? Which vendor did we use? What were the costs? What parts do we use? What was the history on the asset? So you have all that information, every generated work order, right within your preventive maintenance schedule. Any questions on PMs so far? Anybody?
Steve, on that last view you had of previous work orders, like back to 2015.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you're maybe not in the PM view, but in the work order view, would it have like the title of the work order on there? So asset history.
Yeah, it has. This is the title that in the PM. So this could be Steve is awesome. So this PM here will generate the same title for every week. If I have a schedule, like every Monday, generate this work order, it'll be the same title, and then your history will be the same. up until you change that title in the PM.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the title will be the same thing. So you can, if you want to distinguish it, you can put PM here. You don't need to. Why? Because if I go back to my list view, here's your types here. So you can really quickly get to your PMs, work orders, or metering type work orders. So if I click PM, this is the next one here that's live. That's the PM right now. It generated a work order. It's due in 5 days. Well, I have it, mine are 5 days, and assigned to all these people. So those are PMs. Okay, what I want to do now is look at reporting, because we created a work order on that Blanchard. So reports are under here. Reports are only accessible to the administrator and editor, or site admin, site editor, top roles. Excellent functionality on the reports is that you can schedule them. You do not need to come back on your desktop and generate a report unless you want to create a new one or look at what kind of data, Maxpanda generates. Now, again, I know you're using Sage, or you're going to use Sage, or whatever app you're going to use. You really don't need, and you don't need it to be online, web-based, because I'm going to generate an SLA report today. I can download that report and customize the columns, and you can simply upload it to your accounting package. You don't need the API, or you don't need Zapier integration tools. Now, our reports, we group them by your work orders, your work order cost, asset cost, building, labor, and parts. So we group them together, and you can create as many as you want. Here's an SLA export. This one you're gonna find it valuable because it deals with time and money. Okay, and it's very popular with our customers. So the report is only limited to 60 days. If you want longer than 60, you have to schedule your reports. Obviously, when you start, you're not gonna have more than 60 days. So right now, I want to see all my data, all work orders from November 1st till today. I'll show you my header column data, and I'm not going to customize the report. I'm just going to show all work orders, PMs, meters, all categories, statuses. Now, all of our reports, you can preview them on your in your browser. So we use Express Dev Engine. You can download in an Excel file with all of these as filters. There's filters within the Excel, or you can schedule it. Okay. Let's preview it first. So once I click preview, what I'm doing now for the past 2 months or 5 weeks, I'm generating a pretty large report, maybe 2 pages. No, I just generated a 6-page report where I can download in a CSV file, Excel, PDF, old Excel, whatever, PNG. You could save this data to raw data. So hide your top columns here and just download your work order data, raw data, and then just upload that to other systems if you want. So it's a manual process instead of using the API. So I can print this report. Now let's look at your work order today. That's the last one in my account here. Blanchers are leaking like crazy. This work order is now closed. It was created at 12/21, and you see it's time stamped to the second here. It was approved. This was a start date. Now, remember Steve wanted it due in 3 days, but that was the planned due date. Tim, you changed it to 7 days. We skipped all this today. We just closed it off. So everything is time stamped to the second. In the middle of your SLA report, it'll capture all the relevant information, notes, comments, who created it, who completed this work order. At the far end, it will capture your total hours for all of your staff, your labor cost from all of your staff assigned to the work order, your parts cost, the vendor invoice, and grand total. So the Blanchards today cost the company almost $1,900 to repair. If you like what you see here, these columns, and you want this data available to you, obviously we don't expect you to come in here every Monday and generate this preview, right? And manipulate it. So once you like it, this data here, you schedule it. Maxpanda can send you this new report every Monday morning. So the data will be from Sunday to Sunday. Sunday night, we process over 1 million reports. Or you want it monthly data. So instead of 4 reports, you just want your monthly report. So on the first Monday of every month, you will have your report in a CSV file, and it'll be ready right here in My Reports. You can download it then and upload it to any other system or create pie charts, do whatever you want with it. You could also carbon copy the accounting the CFO